Hello, this is your announcement for Philosophy 201G, Introduction to Philosophy. Today is February 4th, 2019. This week we are moving into another module, which is 1.3, or really continuing our work in Module 1. Now we're in the third part of Module 1. And in this module, we are looking at, or the question is, what else determines who I am? So we're still considering the question about self and identity, but this time for this week, we are looking at it from different perspectives than what we have over the last two modules. Last week we considered, kind of alternatives to the idea that there is a soul, including Locke, of course, who talked about that there is a continuous process, but and implying that there is some sort of soul. And then, of course, there is the Buddhist scripture who thought differently. And then, of course, Hume, who is completely different as well. But at any rate, this week we are going to look at what else determines a person's identity from a different lens, from different lenses. And those are from the lenses of gender as well as race. Okay, so kind of brings this discussion up to date a little more. And in my comments, I talk about, and I think it's important in philosophy to broaden the tent of perspectives that we consider. And if I don't know how much you know about the field of philosophy, but it's been very dominated by what we call kind of the dead white guys. Plato and Socrates, Aristotle, Descartes, all of those guys, and mainly from Western Europe as well. So that's why in this class I worked hard to try to get different perspectives to be a part of our discussion as well. So this week we're really going to focus on those different perspectives. You're going to read something by Simone de Beauvoir from her book called The Second Sex. This is the piece that you're going to be reading is a piece that I've been teaching for a really long time. And I think it's interesting, and I hope you enjoy reading her idea of gender and what that means in terms of one's identity. And then the second reading is by a philosopher named Naomi Sack, and she has a perspective on race and what race means in terms of identity. Okay, so those are your readings for today. There are two discussions, one on each of the authors. There is also a quiz. The quiz is due on the 7th of February, which is Thursday, and then the discussions are both due on Friday. All right, so just a word about discussions, and let me first apologize. I'm just a little behind in my grading, so I do apologize for that. I think throwing 3 discussions at you was probably a lot, so now I'm reckoning with that. So I'll be getting caught up this week, as well as getting to the discussion that you completed last week on Plato, on the Phaedo. Okay, so in terms of just general comments about discussions, it's tricky in philosophy because I'm asking you to do a couple of things. I am opinion, and it's important to, when you talk about why what your opinion is, to also bring in the material that we've read to support what you say. Okay, so that's one point. Secondly, I think both of the discussions this week will ask you to reflect on your own thoughts and your own life. And I know that's something that students have trouble doing. They tend to write in general terms about why is it important for everyone to do X. So rather than doing that, I'm really asking you to apply these concepts to your own life, okay, and your own experiences. So talk about that. It's okay to use I the word I in these discussions. Okay, I know that's frowned upon in a lot of academic writing, but here it's okay. Again, okay, using evidence too where possible. All right, and then lastly, it's kind of a no-brainer, but follow the instructions. Okay, it's really important that you follow instructions. I'm seeing students lose points for things that are really easy, like posting replies to two classmates. That's an easy one, as well as not posting your initial response 48 hours before the due date. Okay, so those are important ways to make sure that you can earn as much credit as possible. All right, okay, so that's what's happening for this week. I'm going to be busy grading your stuff as you are busy reading and discussing. So I hope you all have a good week. And if you have any concerns, please don't hesitate to contact me. I know several of you are, and that's great. Let's keep the lines of communication open. Okay, thank you. Bye. See you next time.